Your repurposed freighter drifts through space. As you stare out at the star-flecked void, another ship comes in. Wait, is this sci-fi? I thought we agreed on a World War II campaign. Oh, did we? That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke curdles in your nostrils. Hold up, I thought we were prepping for a zombie apocalypse campaign. Alright, here's what we're doing. It's the year 3700. Humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology. Earth survivors scrape by with historic tools as weird phenomena plague abandoned nuclear sites. Witnesses report seeing glowing lights and the dead rising from their graves. And amidst the chaos, three strangers will meet in a dim bar. A veteran zombie slayer, a disgraced general out for revenge, and a space mercenary sent to investigate the power plants. Now describe your characters. How did you do that? I have the right tools for the job.
Hey, there's a house right there. Sam. Steph. Go right. What have you got?
Jukes. I see someone, but I don't think they're alive.
This house is clean.
Jumpy.
Another dead zone. The only thing alive in here is the smell.
They're not coming back.
Well, if you're gonna ride out the apocalypse, no better way to do it than with some castles and crusades.
Hey, you too. Take only what you need.
There's somewhere we need to go. It's been shrouded for so long, there won't be any path for us to follow. The only person who knew the way is gone. But in my dreams, I swear, I've seen it. The mist-shrouded hills, the forgotten halls, the dungeon that never ends. It's like we've been there before, like this story is already a part of ours, like it's waiting for us, at the edge of our imagination. That is where our journey begins.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
In Severance right now.
And we're live.
And we are live. It is now February 18th, 2025. And Savage Splinter has deployed the aliens. Excellent, Savage Splinter. How's it going, Noble Shield and Barsook? Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Mel went all the way in, Sparky, on that Crusader 28. We gave her complete control over design and look, so she did that all on her own. I am super, super happy with it. I love working with Mel. I'm trying to squeeze more work out of her, but she has a day job, so we got to work around that. But there you go. Spoilers, my son is delaying my catch-up, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I am Stephen Chenault, CEO of Troller Games, and this is Ask Me Anything. This is our usual Tuesday gathering where we just open the forum to anyone and everyone who has a question on whatever platform. Chuck will eke its way to me, and I will do my damnedest to answer it, though, sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, so there you go. What's up, all? Just drove home from Little Rock, people driving crazy. Yes, Paladin Dad, we've got, ice or something coming in? I think the northern part of the state's getting more than we are. Right now, we've just got wet with little patches of ice, and everyone wants to get home and tucked in before the power starts going out.
Yeah, are you getting snow too as well? I think everybody is.
Yeah, just barely. We're supposed to get an inch tonight. I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
We're supposed to get 3 to 5, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Wolfalona. Davis is supposed to get, 10 inches or something.
He'll get a bunch up there, won't he? Right.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how it all plays out. And when will there be a print edition? In probably about 3 weeks. Dread Monkey Lord, we've got so the Crusader 28's done, out of the way. The role player's vault is done and out of the way. Next up is to wrap up Barsoom. The next one will be Beneath the Canopy Green. Then we'll wrap up Barsoom, and once those are all done, we are golden, and we'll start shipping those to the Kickstarter backers. As soon as we start shipping those to the Kickstarter backers, we will make them available on site for sale. So look to April for having a weekly release, one of these things, because I anticipate that by the end of March, we will be done with all of these products and they will be rolling off. That's the plan. 2 of them are done, 3 to go. And the screens are in there somewhere, but the screens really...
I'm hoping you forget about them.
We got to get those to the printers really by Friday to get them back in time for when the Canopy Green goes. So we need to get started moving on that as well.
So you're telling me what I'm doing. You're telling me what I'm doing tomorrow is what you're telling me.
Yeah. We got a lot of wrap up going on, and it's going very, very well. It's just fantastic. The Hermit, I didn't post it. I meant to post it today. We loaded the pallet up and shrink wrapped it and sent it off to FedEx Freight. So the last of the Hermit has shipped out, which is fantastic. We'll close that Kickstarter down, and we will begin closing the Reforged Kickstarter down soon. And Chuck will be launching the shipment stuff for the Infernum and Exaltum in the next hopefully week or so. We've got all that set up. And
Avengers Armory?
I'm sorry, yes, Adventures
Okay.
Armory, right, yes, Exalted. I was working on the Infernum today, so that's
No,
on my brain pan.
You're good, man. I just was having a small heart attack, but it's okay.
For the Armory, which is at the printer now, and the proofs arrived in my, it's all digital now, it arrived in my inbox a couple of hours ago, so I will dive in the morning.
I can't wait to see it.
approve
It'll
all
be
that and
fantastic.
get those 2 books printed. Let's see.
I've got some.
We have any questions?
Yeah. First one up from Varsuk. What is your favorite fantasy authors, if any, of the last 20 years or less? Subgenre press for pleasure fiction reading? Question mark.
Man, I'm horrible with names. Back in the 80s and 90s, I got extraordinary pleasure out of Robert Adams, but that's not the last 20 years. I guess that's the 1980s. So you're talking the last 20 years. Wow, I have read so little fantasy in the last 20 years that's not really old fantasy. In the early aughts, I got into reading 1920s stuff and really got attached to what's his name, James Branch Cabal. But you know what? I'll say this. This is to answer that question. And this is not a cop-out because I never read any of this stuff in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or the aughts. But a few years ago, I guess it's pre-COVID, just a little bit pre-COVID, 5-6 years ago, I started reading H.P. Lovecraft. And I have an extraordinary love for H.P. Lovecraft. That he really conjures that horror in the brain pan, which is nice. So it's sort of a compound, I guess. What's the next one?
Michael Montalto from Facebook asked, what can you tell us about the upcoming Castle Zygig backer campaigns? Example, do you know what tiers you may have available? How many total campaigns will be running? When do you expect to complete the entire series?
So we don't have tiers set yet. We're going to go very simple on this one. I mean, it's going to be a hefty buy-in. There's not really going to be where you get to buy just Yigsburg and not the dungeons, and there's going to be 3 books. So I think the first tier is going to be PDFs of the 3 books, and the second tier is going to be the 3 books and the PDFs of the books, and then the third tier will be a collector's thing. I think that's kind of where we're going to land, keeping it very simple. And the 3 books will be the Yigsburg book, and then the Castle and Environs book, and the first 7 levels of the dungeon. Now, that's a little bit of a misnomer because level 3 has a sub-level and level 4 has a sub-level. So it'll actually probably just be the first 5 levels and the 2 sub-levels, if that makes sense.
So it's a little bit like the way we did the Gygaxian Fantasy when we turned that into the World Builders, because there's so many damn books, you just can't.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to set it up where you can just like buy volume 3 and not volume 1 and 2. It's too complicated. Yeah, it's kind of an all-in. This is Gary's magnum opus, and it's going to be an all-in thing. So we hope to have that Kickstarter done. I meant to call Mike today. He's working on book 3. So I should say level 3, the first 2 parts are done. We hope to have all of the writing done within a year, I think. I'm hoping for 1 level a month is what we're shooting for. There's 17 levels plus sub-levels. So about 21 levels in all. I'm hoping for 1 level a month, and already like 3 or 4 are written. So 3 are written. So hopefully within 12 months, we have most of this thing wrapped up. So I should say 1 level every 3 weeks is what I'm hoping
for. Let's see. Asher the Bear asks, did you ever get the Shadow Dark conversion on the Hermit?
So yes and no. We've got Cersis. I think his name is Cersis. I can't remember. Super nice guy.
Yeah, Cersis, I think.
He emailed me the proofs last week, and I kicked those over to Jeremy, so Jeremy can kind of go through. He's the only one vaguely familiar with Shadow Dark. And he went through and everything looked fine, so I sent it back to Cersis. And the email I got on Friday was, I gave him to go ahead and plug these in, and he said I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So he's working on that now. As soon as he gets that to us, he'll probably go to Peter for a quick layout, and I think Chuck and I were told that there are templates somewhere that we can download or get from the Shadow Dark folks, and then we'll just kind of lay it out as close to a Shadow Dark book as we can get it and roll that guy out. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I don't have control of the conversion process, but I'm guessing about a month.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, there's plenty. I'll get that. Yeah, it's easy. All right, next question up from the Dread Monkey Lord. While I catch most of your Kickstarters, I miss some. Is there a list of active Kickstarters, and backer kit projects somewhere on your website that I can check weekly to confirm I have them all?
So we don't have we don't really have anywhere we've posted Kickstarters that we have done. I think that you can go look at my name, Stephen Chenault, on Kickstarter and see all the stuff that the Kickstarters that we have done. So you can kind of parse through that and see what you may have backed and what you may not have backed. A lot of this stuff, some of those Kickstarters, the material that we kickstarted is long sold out because we've been doing it, since 2015. But that is still alive, is on the website, and you can buy. And of course, there's exclusives that aren't part of it. But I think we've got, if you include the Hermit, 5 unshipped Kickstarters at the moment, with the Hermit 99% shipped and Reforged about 60% shipped, and then the other 3 coming to a rapid conclusion.
Yeah, new layout and such, Peter said. Let's see. Mitch Clements for now asks, will the Iggsburg book of that series, of the new Gary series, remade series, be exactly what is already out?
It'll be the same text. All the text, we're not changing any of Gary's work. I've instructed Finn as he's editing these things to not change Gary's work.
Right.
We're looking for grammar, punctuation, whatever, but the wording stays the same. Even if it may sound clunky to a modern audience, we're sticking with Gary's writing. So in that respect, it'll stay the same. Where it will change is it'll go from black and white to full color. That's the first big change. All the fonts and headers will be changed. The map will be changed. The interior art will be changed, and the cover art will be changed. So it won't be anything like what you've got other than the actual physical text.
Okay. Let's see. Kenny Yeager asks, I just got the email for the Crusader 28 shipped digitally. Can you remind me if Crusader's getting restarted or if this is just a one-off?
So we're hoping to restart it. Jeremy's champing at the bits. He's already started putting Crusader 29 together. I would absolutely love to see this put out as a quarterly journal. That is the tentative plan now. We are not going to take subscriptions to it, and we are not going to formalize that into the publication schedule until we are through, really completely through Reforged and probably through GFW. Well, then I feel comfortable that we can manage that workload wise, because it's one of those things. They do require more work than we think, because it's a full-fledged book. So it has to fit into our production schedule that way. Now we've done something that whatever, I am on pricing, but we have boosted the price to make it competitive with other books. That way, if we do put a Crusader out, TLG can make the same amount that it makes from an adventure. So that helps us balance the workload, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would be very cool. Agile Monk, I know we're not. Agile Monk's asked if he could write for it. We're not quite there yet, but we certainly will open this up to outside contributions without a doubt.
Okay. Let's see. Jacob Realm from Facebook asks, Amazing Adventures and Player's Guide to Arid 5th Edition. Do they require a player's handbook of that other wizard game in order to play?
No, hard to say. So, because I didn't play 5th edition, so you got Amazing Adventures 5e and and Player's Guide to Arid 5e, and you want to know if you can play them without buying the stuff from the wizards over on the coast. Well, Amazing Adventures, absolutely. Amazing Adventures is its complete and own game. Yeah, absolutely. You can go. That book is 100% its own Amazing Adventures game. You can play that for certain.
Yeah.
Jason Bay is extraordinarily proud of that. So I welcome you to do that, and then post over on his channels on our Discord and let him know, because he's very, very proud of that version of Amazing Adventures. As for the Player's Guide to Air, no. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's got 5 or 6 character classes in it and some races in it. So
yeah, it'd be tough. But I'll tell you what you could do. You could take it and play it in Amazing Adventures.
You can play it in Amazing Adventures, absolutely. But it's got no spells. I think is going to be the biggest.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you're absolutely correct on that. Oh Lord. Let's see. Gaming. Oh, never mind. MJ Cook 78 asks, I've got a couple extra comments here for you too. Just to FYI, I was reading through Winter's Bite, and the location 16, the Columbarium, and 18, the Burial Vault, are mismatched on the map, the location descriptions. By the way, it's a pretty cool adventure. I'm looking forward to running it.
All right, I'll check that out. See what you're talking about. That's always one of the issues when the numbering lays down.
Always.
I got that map from Bill. That was a pre-done map. That's right.
I didn't. Never mind. I don't want to say anything. I'm getting myself in trouble. Anyway, Noble Shield says, if I recall correctly, and he's talking about with the conversion of Gary's stuff, there's a chart in Yigsberg. I'm assuming he's talking about Yigsberg about the optional money rules, and one of those books is off. Oh, one of the books. He talks about it being descending, but it's actually ascending.
Yeah, I think that was fixed in the second printing.
Was it? Interesting.
You
remember that? That's wild.
I think that it was. I vaguely remember this being popped up, and that was the only correction the only change I put in that kind of reprinting that we did. I'm pretty sure.
Torlock Civvy 2 has the last question we have in queue right now. Can you tell me more about the Siege?
Siege, yeah. So the Siege engine is our attribute check system. It's the basic mechanic that powers Castles and Crusades, Amazing Adventures, Victorious, and other Star Siege and other RPGs that we'll be rolling out in the coming months. And the Siege engine is an attribute check system. It's extraordinarily simple to use. Basically, you have all of your characters have primary or secondary attributes. If it's a primary attribute, your base chance to succeed any task that the CK asks you to make an attribute check on is going to be 12. If it's a secondary, your base chance to succeed is 18. Castle Keeper is going to add the CL to that, whatever they determine that to be. Generally speaking, it's the level of the monster that you're fighting. So if you're fighting an ogre's level 4, so your CL would be 4. But if it's something like swimming a river, crossing a bridge, whatever that CK wants you to do, they're going to randomly put a CL on there, and it could be 1 to whatever, a gajillion, whatever they want to do, however hard they want to make it. So we've got a bank of fog rolling in. So you take your base plus the CL, and that is the number that you're going to have to roll on your D20 to overcome. You get to add your level to that, and you get to add your attribute bonus to that, any other magic bonuses that you have. So it's exceedingly simple to use. If you were fighting that ogre, if you're trying to, let's say, I don't know, I want to dodge I want to convince the ogre to do something. CL is going to be 4. So if it's a charisma check because you're trying to convince him. So charisma is a prime. Let's just say you're playing what's a crime? What's a class that has charisma as a crime? Prime.
Paladin, I think.
Paladin. So let's say you're playing a paladin. You want to convince the ogre to move out of the way, and you don't want to club him with your sword. So you're going to make an attribute check, a charisma attribute check. And it's going to be you're going to need a 16 to hit, and you're going to roll your d20, add your level to it, add your attribute bonus. If you hit 16 and above, you got it. It sounds vastly more complicated than it is, and it doesn't sound that complicated. Probably take you about 15 minutes to master the rules, and then 2 or 3 games to really learn how crazy versatile the Siege engine is. That's how long it took me to learn it. Davis and Mac developed the system. We published the book about a year later. I started playing my first CNC game. I was a little bit slow to adopt it, but as soon as I started, because I got crazy players at the table, they're always doing crazy shit. I started using that attribute check system for everything. It's very addictive. It's very good.
Them boys that play with you on Sunday, I know them young ones. They keep you on your toes, don't they?
Oh my God, that's absolutely insane.
Let's see. Kenny Yeager asks, I saw the limited run of the beginner box came with a color poster print of the cover art. What do you think of a CNC art calendar for 2026?
You know, we did a calendar a few years back. I thought it was very cool. It's filled with Peter Bradley stuff. Absolutely loved it. I don't know that anyone uses calendars anymore. That would be something that, do people hang calendars on their wall anymore? I have no idea.
My wife does.
We have such good art. We could do a dragon calendar with the dragon art from the Monsters and Treasures right there. I think there's 13.
Let me tell you what I want to do. I haven't told you about this yet. So for Marvel, no, it's DC Comics, and I don't know if they're necessarily the ones that do this, but it's done. It's a known thing. I was talking to a guy a couple weeks ago that collects comic book covers, and they come out with these folios, these poster books, and it's a book, and then inside of it is these little sections, and each one of them has a little print of the cover that you can put on your wall or leave in the book. Oh yeah, and I got to looking. That's quite a popular thing. Very
Yeah,
popular.
everyone here in chat said they would buy one. We can put up a poll and see. I would love to do a calendar. I'd also love to do one of those. I don't even know if they make. Do they even do this anymore? Make a desk calendar where it would have like a GM's tricks of the trade on each day. I think
Oh,
that
that'd
would
be
be
clever, like a tear off or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it came with that kind of metal spindle. You flip your day or whatever.
Oh, I was thinking of the ones like where you just rip it off, but it has a
Rip it
little
off and
thing.
throw it away.
Those used to be real
Uh,
popular a
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah, and so did Rolodexes, but I don't think anyone under the age of 50 really.
Now
uses
you're
them.
just dating me, sir. Commander Jace McLeod over at YouTube asks, "Will Amazing Adventures get a Monsters and Treasure guide?"
Well, amazing. Yes, absolutely. Jason has to finish Exaltum, and then he's got two little pieces to finish for Amazing Adventures, and then he's on to that monster book. That is one of his number one priorities. He actually sent, I believe, Jeremy's going to jump on board and help him in a few months. I think he sent the list to Jeremy and I of everything that's in it. So he has kind of begun what he wants in there, and it's just a matter of putting it together. So that absolutely. Did you read Jeremy's comment there, Chuck? Chuck tells stories
It was
like a little
blurry.
kid.
It was very blurred. I couldn't read it.
Chuck tells Jeremy, you're going to appreciate this. Chuck tells stories like a little kid where he has to give you 2 months of context before he gets to initial
I can't.
thought.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you. I don't know.
I started with Chuck and I had a meeting today, and I started calling him sidetrack Chuck in the middle of. I'm getting a couple of fingers at the moment.
I'm just telling you, you're number one, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Greyheart Grognard asks, "Any news on reprinting the Gore the Road books? Will they include the short stories that weren't originally in the new Infinity books?"
I have not heard back from the estate yet, so no news on it yet. We would love to do that type of stuff. I sent them some communication and royalty checks a couple weeks ago, so hopefully we'll hear something soon. It's got to go through the court, and I think it depends on how busy and how the docket looks and all. It's just it's one of those things.
That's fantastic. You've turned the whole stream into great. That's fantastic. Lots of good
Into
comments
what?
out there about me. It's great. And fucking tastic.
But now, Chuck, you do, in a moment of clarity and self-reflection, you do tend to, sidetrack yourself a little bit, just a little bit.
My brain's
It's,
just too big for this mortal skin that I'm in.
It's the mark of a brilliant man. You've got so
Oh
many
yeah,
things.
yeah. There's also other words for that, like insane. Mental, elderly.
Yeah.
I'd love a Gord adventure series taking inspiration from the first books. At least would be kind of cool. I just want to see them be republished. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him back in front.
It'd be nice to read them. I mean, I read like one, I think, early when I was young. But how many were they total? Do you know how many Gordon novels they were? Were there how many?
Off the top of my head, I think 7, but it may
That
have
many?
been 6. There may have been 6, and then we were working on a 7th. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember. We were going to do them all. We had the first one done and published, and we were working on. Peter was doing the cover for the second one, and it was somewhere in the grist mill.
I got
In
you.
the mill being turned to grist.
Right. Well, we're all caught up on questions for now. I'll gather some more in the queue if you want to start going over some updates.
Yeah, we can update, or we can do Jeremy's favorite conversation, start talking about movies. No.
Oh, yeah, he likes that. That's why he's here, actually. He asked me earlier, he said, "Hey, will you and Steven talk about movies today?" And I said, I'll see if we can fit that in.
Jeremy, since you asked, we can accommodate you. As he said, AD&D, Mike says 7 Gord the Road books. They're not sure what you guys did. We just did one. We published one as a hardcover. We were going to do them all as hardcovers, and I know he had hired. I cannot remember the guy's name. He had hired a guy to help him to continue writing about Gord. I think Jerry's going to co-write or edit, or I'm not sure what the final was on that one. But so we had more planned. We had to continue the series planned, but we were going to just definitely redo the 7.
I've got a question.
Anime, Lord of mercy.
Go ahead and start your updates, and then I'll get these questions.
So let's just start at the top. The Hermit, for those of you just joining us, I'm going to give a quick update on our Kickstarters, and I'm going to be very fast. If you have any questions, throw them in here, please. So the Hermit is 99% shipped. We're about to close that thing down. Then it'll just be kind of stragglers. If you haven't got yours, please pay your shipping or contact Chuck or product support and let us know. After that, we're on the Armory. That one's at the printer now. We sent out, I believe, the PDFs today or yesterday, so you should have the final PDFs on that. I will approve those in the morning or maybe tonight if I'm particularly bored. And we're on schedule to have them shipped to us mid-March, like the 13th or 15th of March. He sent me the dates, I can't remember. And when they get to us, we'll start shipping them out. And the hope is here that they ship out before we roll off to Gary Con on the 19th. So it's going to be a nail biter to see whether we do it or not. But hopefully. Then let's see, on to Reforged. Reforged is shipped to everybody except overseas stuff. We're going to wait for about another 30 days on anyone outside of the United States and Canada, including Canada. Sorry, we're not shipping Canada either until the 4 missing books are in. 2 of those are done. The third is 95% done, and then the fourth is should be done next week. So it's the Barcel thing. So those are on target to ship to us. On or around while we're at Gary Con. So right after Gary Con, we'll begin shipping the last of Reforged and close that out, and it'll be done. Then there will be, yes, Chuck.
I kind of was reading something, so I didn't hear. But did you mention when are y'all going to ship the Crusader? You're going to wait till Beneath, or are you going to go ahead?
Crusader ships with their last of the Reforged. So Crusader 28 will ship with Beneath the Canopy Green screens, the Barsoom preview, and the Role Players Vault.
That's what I thought.
5 items. Yeah. Okay. All that probably first week or last week of March. Because I think Gary Con's like the 3rd week of March or something.
You got to remember Monday is going to be the week after the con. So.
Oh yeah, no, we're getting to work.
I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying you know how it goes.
All of you people go to the conventions and get sick, except Dakota.
Oh yes.
We come back, start working.
I didn't get sick at Pace.
I've just jinxed myself. So watch me come back sicker than hell.
You better not get sick because
I messed my karma.
You know what? Paige was the first con. I didn't get sick one bit up there. Nothing. It was great.
Yeah, that's good.
Well,
so then the next up is the Gygaxian Warbuilder Archives. We are on the 5th cover of the 10th book, and I got book 2 and 3 in my inbox over the weekend, and those will go to editing. A little bit to do on editing. Finn's taking a week off, so he's kind of got a backlog building up. But like the 2nd volume is literally just lists. I'm not really sure how much editing it needs. So we're probably going to miss shipping those things to the printers in March and April. It'll probably be April, May when we start shipping those to the printers. But we should start seeing finished text arriving first week of April, so that we start sending people stuff out for that. Isn't there another one? Infernum Exaltum continues to be the outlier for us. Jason's almost finished writing it. We've got a few more pictures trickling in. I think I got another 4 in from David North. But the other 3 artists it's the season to be jolly, I suppose. So we're kind of at their whim at this point. That should catch us up with all of that.
All right. Yeah, I need to sit down and look at the roadmap for this year because I literally in my brain I cannot think of anything beyond what you just said. I cannot. I don't know why.
It's a lot, and that's one reason I'm very anxious, and I'm happy that we're getting so many things wrapped up. Because when we get back from JerryCon, half of the conversation that I just had will be over. It'll already be in the mail headed to customers. So everybody out there that's picked up this and backed it. So
yeah,
to backers.
All right, so a couple more questions in the queue here. One earlier from Agile Monk. He says, Cholo Games, I have a serious question regarding the Harvesters, the role-playing game. How well does it work for 16-year-olds? And will kids as old as 10 be okay with it? As I know, I do kids groups 13 to 18, but I'm being asked about younger kids. If you want, I can share my experience over the last 2 years running it.
Yeah, I'll just say real quickly that game was literally designed for children, for young people. Obviously, people my age, every age, can play it and have a lot of fun, but it's anthropomorphic and it was designed specifically for young people of mine. But Chuck has actually been running the games at conventions, Harvesters. I'll let him take this.
I'm looking forward to it coming back into print one of these days because I absolutely love it. But anyways, John, honestly, it's perfect for young kids. Most of the kids that play in those games with me, I've had them as old as 12, but most of them are between 7 and 10. But you know what? Literally, they're just as savage as the teenagers, man. That's the honest truth. They don't waste no time being cootsy about nothing. They want to chop the bear's head off and all that stuff. It's pretty funny. But definitely good for younger kids. Absolutely. And it's written that way, too. Because I actually had to kind of adjust it a little bit. some of the kids at Page were, how can I say this? They were more adult, even though they're kids. I just think the younger age groups are just growing up faster.
Yeah, Savage Splendor puts Savage question mark. Yeah, I've run some camping games. They are brutal as hell.
They are brutal. They
It's
are.
hilarious.
I had that little 7-year-old. Her parents were sitting there, and she said, "If we catch the bear, can I chop its head off and wear it?" And I was like, "What?" And her parents, she was 7. Her parents were like, "Yeah, do it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah, I was running a game. One of my favorite. They were all about 10 or 11, and it was 3 girls and 3 guys. And I can't remember what environmental thing I had thrown at them, but I had destroyed their rations and backpacks probably. I'm sure it's crossing a river or
Right.
swamp or something. Anyways, so they come out of it, orc battle, kill an orc. And I described to them the weather's changing, it's raining, you're a little chilly, you're getting hungry. And without missing a beat, one of those young ladies said, "Okay, we grab one of the orcs, we cut it up, and we cook it."
Wow, that's great. Isn't that awesome? I'll tell you one thing. I will cost you one thing. The most powerful character classes in Castles and Crusades is in those Harvester books. That Badger,
really?
they don't need armor. They don't need weapons. Those animal characters, holy cow, dude. They can kick
That's
some
fine.
ass.
That's good. That's good. I need to talk to John. I would love to get harvesters.
I would too. Okay, let's see. Next question from DM John. How you doing, John? For Backer Kit Zygag books, will it be possible to back it more than one level? So get the regular books and the collector set.
So we will do. There's going to be a set. The collector set's going to have the regular books with it.
Right.
We're not doing that again.
No, they're gonna be in there with it for sure.
We split them and reforged, and we're not doing that. So
Yeah, that
we'll be
caused a
able to
lot
get
of
the
problems. So
regular. It caused a lot of problems, mostly with this guy. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's all me. Every minute.
it's all right. It's okay. We all live through it.
Just
Jacob,
better now.
over at YouTube, Jacob Zimbrennen asks, "Have any of the Troll Lords run domain level CNC games?"
I certainly. By domain, I assume you mean high level. I certainly have. I've run one group up to 15, 2 groups up to 15th level, and I think the one is about 16th level or something like that. And it's the hardest thing that I've run into is and we've talked about this before, but the sheer volume of damage. Now this, I know it transcends into D&D, I should say, and it probably goes to all other games. The sheer level of damage that they do per round is astounding. I mean, it is, I don't know. We figured it one night for one of the groups at 15th level. It was like 50 points of damage per round. And if you think about it, an ancient dragon is only going to have like 200 hit points, 150 hit points. 4 rounds later, they're annihilated. And you're like, what the? So I've had to kind of introduce some things into my monsters to help alleviate that a little bit. And that's higher armor classes and damage reduction. Because it is brutal. But it plays very fun. I will say that. And I don't normally recommend my stuff because it sounds weird to do so, but I wrote Monsters and Treasures of Air with this thing in mind. So there's a lot of monsters in the MNTFA that have very high armor classes, which will help.
And my main group here at the house, it's funny though, because Steve, the main group that's going through the aired stuff right now, I've been using a lot of the MNT aired stuff, obviously because it's stuff they're not familiar with, right? But those guys were all around 15th, 16th level. The Thief was 18th. And I think the group's currently at 12th level now. They ran into some problems with that Death Knight. Yeah. They lost some levels and somebody died.
Jacob clarified. He said, characters ruling land and dealing in politics and warfare. So I'm going to answer that in two directions. We ran, the game that went into the Codex of Air was mostly AD&D and the latter half high level Castles and Crusades. And that one was absolutely filled with, I love politics at the table. Absolutely filled with it. I did tons and tons of politics that's where the Codex of Air really comes in handy because everything's outlined for you. You got a really good launch pad to do that. But we did in the game that we've been running for about 5 years, that Dakota, the shipping guys in, my sons and my other nephew, they're about 12th to 15th level. I think the Thief's 15th and everybody else is 12th. The Rogue, sorry. And that one, they started creating this guild very early at like 3rd level or 4th level, and that's been a huge part of it. And at this level now, they have the island of Durathil, which is north of Anvaltig, and they're at war with the kingdom of Anvaltig, and they have just sent an embassy of themselves to Aenok to get those folks involved. So yeah, I do those games, Jacob, all the time. I absolutely love them. I would recommend a Codex Severe. It's a good setting for that.
And just in case Jeremy's sitting and listening while he's in the bathroom or out walking his dog or whatever, question in chat here from Asher the Bear. In Crusader number 28, we've already found our first problem. No, I'm kidding. The Hobgoblin weapon training says +1 with 3 of a list of weapons. Is that just a hit or damage as well? LOL.
Jeremy, I'll have to answer that.
Yeah,
I would
Jeremy.
assume it's just a hit. That's generally how those abilities go. But you never know, Asher.
You never know.
Would you say domain play at higher levels is baked into CNC gameplay, or more of an it's optional? Definitely. When we created it, the only part that you're going to see rules wise that's kind of baked in, and I use the air quotes on this one, is in the Castle Keeper's Guide in chapter 10. I think is the level, the types of barons and dukes and stuff like that. And if you're a 4th level ranger, you're a such and such title. So we built titles into the classes. Yeah. Beyond that, it is not at all baked in. It's something you're going to have to. You know what I'm talking about, Chuck?
Yeah, it's in the CKG though, right?
That's in the Castle Keeper's Guide. Yes,
yeah, I was going to say it wasn't in the player's handbook. I was about to freak out there for me. I was grabbing my.
I
was like, what?
Okay. Land is treasure, chapter 10, 195.
Right, land is treasure. That's right. Yeah.
So just to give folks an example, if I can ever get there.
Damn player's handbook. I don't even know.
So like a cleric, a 1st level cleric is a suffragan, 2nd level acolyte, 3rd level lector, then a sacerdote, warden, priest, exarch, officiate, priest, canon, bishop, cardinal, priest, a confessor, elder, hierarch, patriarch, pontiff, high priest, or prelate, and then apostle at 24th level. So that sort of gives you some guidelines on where to go, but it's nowhere baked into it. CKG is filled with tons of stuff if you want to go that
just
route.
Stuff, you know?
Yeah. Jace McLeod asks for a quick update on the armory stuff. I'll just do this again. We talked about it a little bit in case you missed it. So both of those books are at the printers now. The 3rd book is already done. I forgot to give that to Chuck today. I'll do that tomorrow. But he asked for it about 8 times.
Oh yeah, right.
So the two, the Monsters Army, Adventures Army at the printers now. I'll be approving the proofs tonight or first thing in the morning, and then it's printing. And they are telling me we should get them shipped to us in the 2nd week of March.
All right, that's when all that stuff's gonna come up, right? Dr. Talker, I ordered Amazing Adventures 5e, but put in my address wrong. Realized too late and don't know if it's still possible to recover.
When did you place that order? We shut down the mailroom today because we got so much ice. So if you will send product support at trollor.com an email right now. If you ordered it today, there's a good chance it has not shipped out. So shoot us an email and we'll get that fixed and get you shipped off correctly.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeremy, we've got Amazing Adventures 5th edition and Player's Guide to Arid 5th edition and Undying War 5th edition and a smattering of Gaxmore 5th edition. No problem, Jason. Yep, that should get to us. Jeremy, did you answer the question? Did Jeremy answer the question?
He forgot. He said, just do like we do with elves in Player's Handbook.
There you go.
But I mean, it's like everything. It's whatever you want to do. You know, you want your orcs to be hurting with some damage or hobgoblins, and do it. You know.
Oh wow! Yeah, Doctor. It's so what's going to happen if you ordered that a month ago? What's going to happen is it went to wherever we shipped it, whatever address, and it's going to get back to us in about 3 months. It'll go through some strange, I don't know, it goes to Moria or Australia. I don't know where it goes. But it'll wander its way back here, battered and mangled, and the box will be all chewed to pieces, and we'll put it in the damage pile. So shoot us an email, and we'll get that taken care of for you ASAP. Yep. Yeah, Sparky, they're very hard to burn. I took a whole to burn, and it would not burn.
I did not know that.
He was getting so angry because it was just sitting there smoldering, and the coating on it wouldn't burn.
Right.
And then he got mad. And if you ever get the opportunity to burn with Davis, it is nothing but pure joy because he has zero fear of fire. So he pulled out a 5-gallon can of gasoline and went to town on that stuff. And there was a jet of flame 8 feet high. I don't know.
God.
7 feet high, whatever. It was Absolutely hilarious.
And then it just later and
We were
didn't
down-
burn.
Yeah, we were down. Yeah, it's funny and crap. We were down. I hadn't gotten it. We had to go down south to some family stuff, and my cousin, who I love dearly, she sent me a bunch of texts with smoldering piles of burning stuff from her yard. And I told her, she said, we're having fun. And I said, is Davis there? She goes, yeah, Davis is here.
Yeah, he's definitely he's a lover of fire, that's for sure.
He loves fire. I've never seen someone love fire so much.
Yeah. Burning with Davis.
Yes, a wolf alone. He never. I'm always getting burnt around that damn fire of his. He does. I'm going to jinx him. I need to knock on wood. So he never gets burnt, or he doesn't feel it. Maybe he's I don't know. He's just got. He has no fear of fire. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Yes, Peter. Remember, kids, important safety trip. Do not emulate trolls at home.
No.
Do not follow
No.
Davis's example.
There needs to be a disclaimer on anything we put out anywhere about that.
Troller Games does not condone. Does not condone using flammable liquids on fire, such as, but not limited to gasoline, kerosene, diesel, alcohol, Bacardi, grain alcohol. Yes, Dave. We need to put that everywhere. Do not do as Davis does. And when I get the call that Davis has turned himself into a pile of dust, I will not be surprised. I will not be at all surprised. Yes, Peter knows. Peter knows some of the old stories. That's about right, Sparky. Well, we are creeping towards the end. If you do have any, wait, what does the GM say? GM, my wife, Pastor Pyromaniac, Gene, not to argue. Two of Davis's kids love fire. Henry really loves fire, but there's this joy that you just see this joy enters Davis that when he gets to burn things. I don't know. He's very primeval, I think, in his core. Yeah, over fire mania, yes, Sparky. I know this look. Yes, it's just funny. It's fascinating, and I actually had to correct him the other day. I was up there a couple weeks back, and I said we need to burn something. I can't remember what it was. And he goes, "No, that's not going to burn." And I turned around to him and I said, my brother once told me that if you get the fire hot enough, anything will burn. And he started laughing, and then we proceeded to burn it. We had to get the fire hot enough, but we got it burned. I can't remember what the hell that was. It was something in front of his garage. Starter set is moving quite along rapidly. Jeremy sent over the character creation book and into the dark book. They're on my desk now. They were going into editing. I got to get the editing squared. Finn taking a week off has got us all kind of turned around. His parents are in from the UK, so he took the week off. This is his vacation time. So the box, I've already squared up. We've got a manufacturer for the box setup. We're going to be sending that off Made in America. We'll be sending the box off here very soon. I need a little bit of spec information on that. The box is going to be really the only holdup. The books will be printed in-house. It has done extraordinarily well. I think we've sold, I can't remember what Jeremy told me, several hundred already, 300 or so have already done in pre-orders. That's fantastic. We had Jeremy. I'm assuming, Jeremy, since you sent it over, it's probably pretty edited anyways. But we do need a second set of eyes on it without a doubt. If Canada becomes the 51st, I could order a lot of stuff without that. That's one of the things that drives me absolutely batshit. And this has driven me crazy since we started Troller Games. Canada, minimally, Canada and in the United States, there should be no problems with our postal services delivering stuff to and from. I don't understand it. I get the tariff stuff, whatever. Whoever wants to do whatever, I don't care. Whatever, that's a whole different level of shit than shipping a player's handbook across the border, for God's sake. And I really feel like with the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Australia, it should be the same. I mean, minimally, there's no language barrier, well, except for Quebec, I suppose. But it just drives me crazy. It just drives me nuts. It's just right there. We could throw it. I remember that. So if you buy cigarettes in Arkansas, there's a higher tax than if you buy cigarettes in Missouri. But it's technically, I think, illegal to buy cigarettes in Missouri and bring them across the state line. I could be wrong on that, but somewhere I feel like I was informed of that. So a friend of mine told me he's just going to buy a bunch of cartons of cigarettes in Missouri, drive down to the state line and throw them across the state line, and then drive across the state line and pick them up. So I guess if you didn't, so we can do that for Canada. We could just throw the books across the thing. I will say this. GMS Distribution up there has been doing a wonderful job getting our books into retail shops in Canada. So please, if you just call your local shop, let them know through GMS Universal, I think is who's got it. You might be able to get your shop to pick them up. The Royal Canadian Mounted Postal Service. There you go. Shouldn't smoke it anyhow. Yeah, you really shouldn't. There's all kinds of stuff we shouldn't do. Taxes in Arkansas are crazy high. Cigarette taxes are a little bit nutty. It's like $11, I think, a pack, or $12. I don't know. It's pretty expensive. Quebec here, Quebecois. Did I do that right? Nolinquister, Quebecois. Man, I took a lot of French in high school. The language barrier is less with gamers. Books are cheaper in English. There you go. I absolutely love French. I was literally listening to, see if I can find her. I can never remember her name. I'm going to put this in chat. There she is right there. Her name is India. I absolutely love this song. This is a great song. I spent as much time poking around France, and I've actually been to Quebec and Quebec City a long time ago. It was snowing ferociously, and Tim and I drove up there, and we did not have jackets, hats, or gloves. It's a horrible mistake. It's a horrible mistake to go to Canada in the winter and not have proper winter wear. So it's just a horrible idea. Books are even cheaper in Arkansas in English. I live in Quebec City. There you go. I started smoking when it was like 75 cents. Yeah, it's crazy expensive, man. I think it's like $12. I don't know. It's just too much.
Oh, man. You know, it's insane. It is like $12 a pack, and I remember paying $10 for Camels, non-filtered.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I used to smoke Marlboro Reds, and it was.
Oh yeah, we were badasses. I remember the days.
That was $6 when it was just. But now that's crazy.
It's insane.
I'm from Quebec City. It's pretty snowy right now. Yeah, I'm sure it's very snowy right now. I get a lot of Canadians on my TikTok. It's awesome, and they've been posting about the amount of snow you guys have been getting. We got a little bit of dusting of ice right now, so I can imagine what it's like north of here. Yep, red shorts. A long time ago. $9 a pack in Tennessee. Yeah, because you don't have. Do you have no? You got no income tax. Do you have sales tax in Tennessee? I can't remember. I should know that. I used to go to Tennessee all the time. I think it was like 7 to 8 when fully stopped, but 6 area when cut down. I started smoking at 16. Smoked Camel, no filters. That's what Gary smoked. Scottish. Thank you, Don Johnson and Miami Vice. That's so weird, Scottish. I actually watched it. Popped up on my TikTok. The final scene of Miami Vice yesterday, and I watched it. I hadn't seen that in 1,000 years. It's really kind of weird. Silly question, but my Hermit Kickstarter bundle hasn't arrived yet. California, and last update was January 27th. Leaving on work sorting. Seems overdue. Social media mail deliveries take that long. Sometime, 18 days. It's possible, Megalone. I'm not sure where you are. If you're in the LA area, I know that had some obvious interruptions because of the fires, and I think there's floods lately. But please send us an email at whatever. Yep, Chuck got it out there. That email there, and let us check into it because it's possible it was returned or whatever, or wherever it is. Yeah, definitely check into it. Generally, just let everybody know out there. Generally, when you do media mail, it's 7 to 9 days, give or take. Holidays and all of that other stuff, so that can kind of interrupt it. We did have President's Day, I guess, on Monday. But if it goes much beyond that, and that's a good 4 or 5 days beyond that, give us a shout, and we'll see if we can't track it down. I quit smoking the day I got home from GaryCon 2 years ago. This GaryCon mark. That's very good, Scottish. Very, very good. You know, I don't want to preach to anybody, but smoking's really not good for you. It's just really not good for you.
No,
it's expensive, and it just does things.
There's no silver lining. I thought there was, but there's not. There's really not.
You might look cool, but that's not.
No, that's gone too, man. That's gone too.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
No one thinks it's cool anymore.
No, they don't. It's funny though. It's funny how I find it amazing how big business was able to convince a whole world to do something that was detrimental to their health for so long.
Yeah, see, it was different when I was younger. Cigarettes didn't cause cancer or emphysema or anything.
Well, I know that. I would ride my bicycle to the store and I get mom like cartons of cigarettes when I was 12. You know, there's no
You
carting or
you
anything.
you didn't have to worry about seat belts because you couldn't get hurt in a car
That's true.
accident.
That's
Cancer,
true.
smoking,
Nothing ever-
cause cancer. It's great. It's a great time to be alive.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's true. It's very true.
You know, my
Okay.
mother told me that when I was young, they had cars that didn't have seat belts, and she used to take a hanger and use a hanger to hook us in the seat. And I thought, well, good God, if you hit something, that would just cut me in half.
Man, we used to ride around in the back of my dad's pickup truck when I was. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't, whatever. We didn't even think about it. There was one other question. I don't think you grabbed it. It went through pretty fast. Considering the source material, this is
Wolf
from Dr.
Alone says, wait. To be fair, cars were still made of steel. I got to get Davis on. My first car was a 1972 Olds. It was a tank. Davis drove
right.
an Oldsmobile, a huge, thick Oldsmobile 2-door with this swivel seat, gigantic 8-cylinder. Man, I love that car. That thing was a beast. What were you about to say, Chuck?
I was going to say, well, I was going to add to that. My first car was a Mustang. It was a 72 Mustang. I'm telling you, it was solid as a rock, man. I mean,
My first car was a Chevette.
was it really? Well, mine wasn't the cool looking Mustang. It was Mustang 2. Let's see, where was that question? Oh yeah, from Dr. Topper over on YouTube. Considering the source material and many other artist renditions, what should we expect to see in the upcoming Barzoom setting? For example, like clothes or whatever style.
So we're going to try to stick with the traditional interpretations. Now, we are not. If you read the Barsoom books, everybody's naked in those books. We are not going to do that. Davis and I thought it was a good idea, but the folks over at Burroughs Incorporated asked us to not do that. So
that really surprised me. They were like, "Nope."
They said, "Stop, full stop." So I've always loved the look that has developed, particularly with I can't remember his name, Michael Whelan's art. So we're going to kind of stick with the long flowing. It's not a loincloth. I don't know what that cloth is between and the metal and the ornaments and stuff like that. And we're going to stick with that. I thought the movie did a beautiful job of that. So we're going to lean pretty heavy into that. Lots of flesh, but covered flesh, and just really cool, epic stuff. I love the what is it? Peter's out there somewhere. What is the guard on the swords when you have the saber that has a hole?
Right.
Not the pommel, that huge metal part that covers your fist.
It's a guard of some kind, but I can't think of what it's called.
16th century, 17th century, whatever, that type of stuff, and really stylized blasters and things like that. The basket, is that what it's called? Yeah, the basket. Yeah, Scott. So we're going to lean really heavy into that stuff, and we want it to look very dry and epic. Mars doesn't have a lot of atmosphere in today's world, and we're going to kind of keep with that thematic element so you can see deep into space and stuff like that. And the tall, not.
Well, the one thing it was missing was weather. There was
no
weather.
Tall, thin towels. Do what?
There wasn't a lot of weather.
There's no weather. Yeah, I just finished reading book 1. I'm going to dive into book 2 here pretty soon. There's no weather there. So we're going to just lean kind of heavy into. We're going to try to stick as close to what Burroughs created as we possibly can, and just stay true to him. It's really a cool.
I'm very anxious.
So
sorry.
Yeah, me too. And it's funny in reading John Carter, and I just finished it like a week ago.
Yeah.
It's funny how much world building he did in that book. I mean, the story is there. There's a story kind of woven through, but it's like 150 pages long, and there's so much discussion on the moss that covers most of Mars, and that's where the water is that allows the animals to eat, and the whole atmosphere plant. And he discusses just so much world building. Yeah, and it's fascinating to me that a good third of that book is just how the world functions.
I loved how he made different races, but they all had a similar cut to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all very much like us. And I swear to God, there's a footnote I read in there, something about one of the Barsoomian philosophers talked about the commonality of people, because the people on Barsoom, because their atmosphere is so clear and because they're technologically advanced, they've been watching. What's her name? Deja Thor's knows almost all of the history of Earth because they've been watching it through these high-powered telescopes. So they're aware of we don't know what's happening on Barsoom, but they know what's happening on Earth, which is really, really cool. So I don't know. I'm super excited about it, and we really want to lean into it being science fantasy. What did Jeremy calls it? Planetary romance. We want to lean into that type of stuff, and not lean into John Carter, not lean into the stories that Burroughs wrote, but to lean into the world that Burroughs wrote, and to create an RPG so that you guys can become John Carter and you guys can become Deja Thoris and
Right.
Taurus Tarkus and whoever you
And
want.
all them other great guys out there, like the.
Yeah,
I love the one. I love the book where they fight those guys from the moon. You know what I'm talking about?
yes.
I just finished the whole series. Now I have to go back and reread them again because I can't think of his name. But it's just
Well,
cool.
it starts to merge. It starts to merge together. I mean, it's one epic action adventure, of John Carter and a couple other characters I think weave in. It's just good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not so like Lovecraft, who I've learned to love Lovecraft in the last few years. But Lovecraft is heavy, right? When you dive into a Lovecraft, it's like Lord of the Rings. It's heavy. It's not going to be this 3 chapters later, you've gone from Earth to fighting strange.
Right.
Yeah,
You're still going down the road or whatever, It's...
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a different take, which is beautiful, and I love that if my mood is right. But I also sometimes love just to get to it and go at it.
Sure. There's a question there from No Linguister said, I presume Barzoom's gravity allows to make high jump about 2.6 times, I think.
Yeah, we're going to lean into that. For the Earthlings, we're going to lean into that, but we're also going to really encourage, and I haven't told the design team yet, but while I was reading John Carter, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing for demi-humans and humans and on Barsoom. So if you're playing Castles and Crusades, your demi-humans have two primes, and your humans have 3 primes. And the reason we did that is to kind of give them a little bit of balance, so you'll be encouraged to play humans and demi-humans. We're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction for Earthlings who come over to Barsoom, because they're going to have so many more abilities than Barsoomians do. We're going to probably do they only get 2 primes, and the Barsoomians get 3. So we're going to lean into that and make the playing one of the Tharks or one of the red men or yellow men or black men or white men, playing one of them is going to have advantages that humans do not, to kind of balance out and make it more interesting to play those things. It is about time to wrap up. Scottish, so that's going to be the tricky part, is meshing, because what I really want to do is mesh Earth, Barsoom, and Aird and all of these things together. John Carter's 1860. And then he goes to Mars the first time in like 1876 or something. He's there for 10 years, comes back, and then he goes for 10 years. Then he goes back in like 1906 or 1908 or whatever, somewhere around there. I want to line that up, and then we've really got to, Davis and Jason and everybody, and I got to sit down and really kind of make that work for everybody.
Yeah, that's important. Very important.
Yeah. All right, is that it? It's about time to wrap up, I think.
It is time to wrap up. My wife has already sent me the smoke signal saying, "Get your hind end in here." So I'm gonna send this up a quick break.
I'm not sure what you said, Savage, but I like that. Let's see. Savage said, "I'm gonna play a scientist. I gotta study things hands on." There you go. Excellent.
This is a parade.
All right.
We're gonna raid into Captain Robert. He streams D&D. We've raided a few times.
Sweet.
Everybody.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and joining us today. It was a great conversation today. Chuck's shows moved to Fridays.
Yep.
I will be running an online game Friday somewhere with Jay's, I think it's a charity thing. Chuck, is that right?
Yep, it's going to be this week. I meant to put it in the bot. I forgot to do it today. But anyway, it'll be 1 o'clock Central Friday. Steve's going to kill a bunch of us on camera. And there'll be a bunch of other streams going on. I think Rob, Phantom New Jersey, Rob's going to be kicking that off at, I think, 9 o'clock in the morning. I have to play in his game. And then we got a bunch of stuff for 24 hours, just trying to raise money, so it'll be good.
Excellent.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And Scottish Jeff says, watch me tonight on Guild Superior playing
Nice.
Outlaw Greyhawks.
Very nice, guys. I will come by and watch that, Scott. Jeff.
Yeah, I'll ring them. Thank you all for coming out, and we will see you Thursday for the roundup.
That's right. Thank you so much, everybody. And don't forget, Trolls Eye. Ow! All right. We'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, y'all.